This is an ad for a Firestone Air Chief from 1947. This particular radio is the model 4A21. It was also called the Adam, A-D-A-M. And the ad says, fluted corner posts and end panels lend a classic touch to this beautiful 18th century cabinet. High selectivity and improved sensitivity assure top quality performance. And it has 6 tubes and push button tuning and a 3-position tone control. Welcome once again to the corner on the deck. Well, it's been a while. All of this terrible stormy weather we've had in Arkansas in 2011, and tornadoes, deaths. Been a terrible situation. But I think it's finally calmed down for a while. We can get a few things done and start living the way we like to live down here. It's a beautiful day today, and yesterday I got out and did a little lawn mowing, things I've been needing to do for a while. I got to get in the garden. That poor garden got beat down something fierce from that rain. Oh my Lord, it's got a lot of work I have to do, and almost like putting in a brand new garden again, unfortunately, but that's how much work it's going to take. Well, let's talk about this radio here. This is a Firestone Air Chief. I've wanted to work on one for quite a while. From 1947. A while back on the Antique Radio Forum, an individual in the classified radio section said he needed to get rid of several radios. They were in various stages of repair and restoration. He says some of them he just couldn't fix. He thought he had the ability to do it, but he didn't have the technical expertise. Some of them he only got half fixed, and he never got around to finishing them. He just needed to get rid of them. So I bought this one from him, and it did not work, of course, but it didn't take a whole lot of work to get it done, to get it operational. He almost had this thing fixed, if in fact he worked on it. If he did not, then the previous person who worked on it almost had it fixed. Almost, but not quite, So I had to go underneath, make a couple of changes, and take out a few capacitors they had put in that I didn't particularly like, and the way they did it, and I went ahead and put it in my way. Everybody has their own way of doing it, and son of a gun if it didn't pop back up. So it's and the reason I did the restoration on this radio was, of course, from my own enjoyment, which is my hobby. But my daughter-in-law came to me, and she said, I'd like to have a radio for my parents. Can you repair and restore a radio for my parents? She said, I will pay all costs for this, everything. I want every penny to be paid for by me, because I want the radio to come from me to my parents, not from you. I said, well, that makes perfect sense. I'll see what I can do. So I took her out in the shed, and I had a Philco, a couple of Philcos there, and then there was this Firestone sitting there, and none of them had the cabinets refinished, I said, which one do you want? Pick which one you think is nice. She says, I like this one. I said, okay, all right, I'll see what I can do. So I went ahead and restored it, stripped the cabinet on down, and just generally gave it a complete workover from top to bottom. Cleaned the inside of the cabinet and re-lacquered it, and got it sounding real good for her. She hasn't seen the finished product yet. She's coming down next month. My grandson, which is her son, he's into karate, and next month there's a karate tournament, the world tournament, world championships. It's in Little Rock next month, so we'll all be going to that. And when she goes back home at the end of the tournament, she'll be taking this radio with her. And the next time she sees her parents, which her parents are up in age, they're not younger folks, and she was a late child, as they say. But they'll certainly remember this radio, this type of radio, tube radio with the AM and the shortwave, making all kinds of static and all that when you play them, So it sounds good. I'll give you a little sample here. It has a 3-position tone control, like the ad said, and there was also a 4A21X, a 4A22. The list went on, and Firestone Tire and Rubber Company sold it. But they sold them for quite a while, the Firestones. I've seen several of them in people's houses over the years. Let's see if I can tune in something here.
I was thinking,
Now the interesting thing about this radio, by the way, unless this right hand push button is pressed, you can't get anything. So I'll tell you what, it's starting to get a little shady out here. The sun's starting to change and the tree limbs are getting in the way. Let's get the camera off the tripod and take a real close look at it. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, as I was saying, unless this right button is pressed right here, you can't tune it. What happens is these four buttons, these five buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you tune the frequency in the back of the radio to the button that you want it to go to. I'll show you that in a few minutes. And then after that, it's what they call electrical tuning or electronic tuning, and it's not a lever that moves the dial. You know, in a car radio, you press the button in the old radios, and the dial needle would actually move back and forth the scale. It doesn't happen that way on a lot of these old radios. You just press the button, and if it's preset to your, like let's say it was WSM out of Nashville, if I had this thing preset, regardless of where I'm at on the dial, I could be way over here with the needle, and then I just go ahead and press this button, and it kicks out this right hand button I was telling you about, and bingo, it'll just come on WSM if you have it preset. Now this is the on-off switch right here. This is the tone control. This is the band. This is the dial rather, and this is the band switch. It's a left and right. Left to the right is the broadcast band. One of the problems I have with this radio is I was missing a couple of screws on this what they call faceplate, dial, escutcheon, whatever you want to call it. And I went out and got some brass screws to fit it. There's no way I could get identical screws that match the originals. And I was going to go ahead and put the brass screws in and then touch them up with brown paint. But then I got looking at it, I said, man, that looks nice just the way it is. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave those brass. And if at some point in the future somebody doesn't like it, they can just touch them up with a small paintbrush with some brown paint. I think it just looks cool. It sort of goes with this gold Firestone decal I put on here, and I sprayed the speaker cover just a little bit of gold paint on it because it was kind of mangy looking. But these are the fluted corners, almost look like Greek portico kind of things, you know, like that. Now I have not put the back on the radio, so let's take a look at that. Here's the back. Like I said, it's a 6 tube, and if you look in there, you'll see that it does not have a tuning capacitor. It has tuning inductors. So this is an inductively tuned radio. See if I can... None of those aluminum plates that sandwich together. It's a tunable inductor. Let me see if I can tip it up here, and then... sorry for the shaky camera, but I want to be able to, maybe I can get my hand on that tuner down here. There we go. I might be able to. Okay, if you see, now what happens is when I tune the inductor, see how it goes downward, and if I tune it the other way, it goes, that flat plate you see goes up, 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 all the way to the top, and it will continue up. The tunable inductor, I'm not too crazy about it, to tell you the truth. Too delicate, you know, you break one of those coils on those inductors and you're out of luck. So I would recommend trying to stay away from those. This radio, by the way, came in two versions. One with the inductors that I just showed you, or you're looking at, and the other is with the aluminum plates, variable capacitor. This is the battery. I mean, I keep saying battery all the time. It's the power transformer cover. It's a shield is what it is. And then down here, this is what adjusts your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons on the front I showed you. The bottom one, again, is a tunable inductor with a slug in the center. You tune in your station, and then this is your fine adjust. It says over here, use the lower screw to locate the station, adjust the top screw for maximum volume. Right here is where you connect a FM phonograph. It'll play through your radio if you want. And of course the information on the Firestone itself. Nice little radio. Here is the shortwave antenna connection. I have it connected to my shortwave G5RV antenna, actually the center conductor. That's the back of it. Oh, incidentally, the loop antenna. The loop antenna on wood all the way around for your broadcast band. The two wires that connect to it are right here and right here. And finally back to the front, give you an idea of the tone control. Nice little radio. Makes me want to even maybe keep it for myself. Let's quickly check shortwave. Oh, that was shortwave. Okay, let's go back to broadcast. Now this shortwave on this radio is 9.35 to 9.88 megacycles. It varies on these radios from radio to radio. The next one might be, 8 to 9.5. You have to kind of pick and choose the one you want. Be careful if you buy one of these to select the shortwave range that you want to cover.
Out there that hunger and thirst for your word.
And this again is broadcast. Oh, there we go. A lot of religious stuff down here on Sunday. Again, we're using a loop antenna, so it depends on which way the radio is turned. Let's go back the other way. Probably more on there this time of day.
Y'all have to eat with we were at
that way of thinking.
Amen.
One religious station after another.
Planning.org. Great places like Central Park are no accident.
Well, that's it, my friends. Until next time, from the corner on the deck, this is John.